Okay, hey girls, we're going to switch gears here to solving linear equations. In other words, solving for x. We've been doing this throughout the year, so I don't think this is going to be a surprise, but I am going to point out some things that will be important, certainly for grade 10 or 11 math. So let's say the whole point of solving equations is to get the x, or variable, put that in brackets, close brackets, variable by itself. That's what the word isolate means, get it by itself. And use a hyphen. When it's by itself, hyphen, we get the answer. When it's by itself, hyphen, we get the answer of what x is. Of what x is. I mean, that's what we're trying to accomplish here. Okay, next part, solving linear equations. Solving linear equations involves moving things around. Solving linear equations involves moving things around by doing the opposite. By doing the opposite of what you have. By doing the opposite of what you have. Period. By doing the opposite of what you have. This opposite idea is super important. Next sentence. For example, comma, if the problem has addition, in it, comma, you must subtract. From both sides. When I say both sides, I mean both sides of the equal sign. Subtract from both sides. If the problem has division, so in other words, in brackets we'll put, so if it's a fraction, more complicated equations do have fraction. So a fraction, you have to multiply. Both sides. Okay, so that's the whole idea of what we're going to be accomplishing here. Undoing what's done in the question to get the answer. So we could say follow these steps. This will give us a bit of a guideline on how to go about getting x isolated or by itself. Okay, step number 1. Combine the constants Remember, these are just the numbers. They don't have variables attached, right? Simply a number. Combine the constants, or numbers, and the like terms. And the like terms on each side. On each side of the equal sign. On each side of the equal sign. Period. Next sentence, it is okay to change the order of our terms at this point. It is okay to change the order of our terms at this point. Matter of fact, it's probably easier to. Step 2. Step 2. I'm going to add or subtract the constant constants from each side of the equal sign. Each side of the equal sign, from each side of the equal sign, to get rid of, and I'm going to put rid of in brackets, or sorry, in quotation marks, to get rid of the numbers, from the side, where the variable is. To get rid of the numbers from the side where the variable is. That's getting closer to getting the variable by itself. Next sentence here. Remember, comma, you must do the opposite of what? You must do the opposite of what we have to get rid of. Do the opposite of what we have to get rid of. Okay, and that's where this idea comes from. Whatever you do to one side, comma, you must do to the other. You must do to the other. Probably heard that, I would hope, in grade 8, and I've certainly said it. Step 3. Step 3. If there is a coefficient before the x, if there is a coefficient before the x, comma, divide both sides, by that number. Okay, period. By that number, period. If there is a number below the x, if there is a number below the x, comma, multiply both sides by that number. Multiply both sides by that number. Multiply both sides by that number. Okay, this next one's a big one. If there is a fraction, before the x, comma, multiply both sides by the reciprocal. Of the fraction. And then step 4, check your solution. Step 4, check your solution by substitution. Check your solution by substitution. Now I just got one more, I'll leave you with one more point. We're going to say when solving equations, do the opposite. When solving equations, do the opposite of bed mass. So that becomes Sam, Deb. So 2 names, Sam, Deb. Okay, next video I'll give you some examples and we'll do them together. Talk to you soon.